razor hair cutting. Uh, razor hair cutting seems to be one of these things that that people don't practice a lot. And so then when it's when they need it, they haven't practiced enough to be good at it. So you're going to need it when you take your state board. And this is usually when people start to struggle with it, or they realize that they're getting ready to start struggling with it, is when they have to start preparing for state board. So it's important that when you have the opportunity to practice, okay? So I'm trying to get this as in the center as possible. That's better. Okay, so razor. So the razors that you all have come in a little, they're just a basic razor, but people still use these all the time. And the most important part about this razor is that you are conscious of this guard, okay? And that you need to have the guard on here securely, okay? So really, really important that you do that. And you want, and then, for example, see, I'm examining my razor, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, something doesn't look right. Well, see, can you see that that is beyond where it should be? So that needs to slide down and be seated in there safely, so that when I put my guard on, it goes, the blade is between the two edges of my guard. Okay, really important, so that you don't cut yourself on either end. You can't cut yourself here, and you can't cut yourself there. Okay, really important. Also, another thing that's important is always remember that the guard is facing you. So the guard is facing you. So when you're holding your razor, this should be facing you. So always think that the guard is for you. Okay, so when you hold it, when you palm, so you're going to palm. Okay, so you're going to tuck that in, and then you're getting ready to grab your comb. Okay, depending on what kind of comb you like, whatever kind of comb you like. And so you're going to hold it that way. Okay, that makes sense? So this is palming. This is correct palming. And the reason why it's correct is because the blade, that part that cuts, is facing away from your client. Okay, it's got to be away. If it's facing toward it when you are combing, it's still facing down and away. Okay, if it's facing your client, there's a good chance that when you go into comb, you're going to cut the hair as you comb. Okay, not a good idea. You want to be careful of that. Okay, so any questions so far about holding the razor? Okay, good. So each time you use a razor on a client, you should change out the blade. Okay. If any questions you ask for state board, it's going to be, you're going to change the blade after every client. Okay, makes sense? Okay, so I've already sectioned out into my basic 4 for a haircut. Just gonna quickly this one up real quick. Okay, so I like to do, personally, I like to do the 2 and 2 hold. To me, it gives more balance, right? But some people like to do 3 in the front and just your pinky in the back. However, how you want to do it is fine. There's no like correct way to hold it, except for making sure that when you palm it, it's facing away from your client. Okay, sound good? Okay, so we're just going to start with this is Brad, but we're just going to treat Brad as as just some hair to cut that we're going to practice with. We're going to go into hair cutting now, and so we're going to use Brad as much as we possibly can. The reason why I'm saying that is I don't want to take a brand new Brad and cut him really, really short for a men's haircut and then waste, 5-6 inches of hair. So we're going to start with the razor, okay? And so I always like to start in the center, as you all know. To me, it just helps with the balance. So start in the center. Let me know if you all can't see me. Turn her a bit. If I go this way, will y'all be able to see better? So I'm going to go. And so with the razor haircut, it's really difficult to do a solid haircut with the razor. We can totally try, and we can totally do that today if you guys want to start with a solid haircut with the razor. And how you would do that is you would, of course, your elevation would be low, right? So low elevation for 0 elevation. Then when you come behind, you're going to put your comb and your thumb. You're going to come behind. You're going to come behind your index finger. I like to just set the guard on my middle finger. And when I do that, then you just press down, okay? And then you can get, it will never be a completely bold, hard, solid, but it will get you a really nice blended solid haircut, okay? And then when you know that, to me, when you feel like you're a little bit struggling with your razor, you can like stop and take time to change it. So I'm going to try one more. So can you see that? So it's never going to be 100% solid, but you can get close. But it's always going to have a softness. It's going to have a nice soft edge on it. Okay. So then, same as with any other solid haircut, you're going to come in, make sure you have some previously cut hair with some hair to be cut. You come down, and what's interesting about the razor is you have to let your previously cut hair drop before you go in and cut. So soon as the hair leaves between your middle finger and your index finger, that's when you're going to start to cut. Okay, so as soon as you see that happen, you'll cut. I'm going to change my blade. I'll show you how to change your blade. So you're going to take your blade off, remove the hair before you sit it down, your guard. Then you can go in, and I have this little feather box that I have. It's kind of like a small version of a sharps container, okay? And so you're going to go in here, and hopefully it'll work on this, because really it's for the feather. And then you're going to go in and you're going to drop it in, okay? And then that way, no one in your family, your household, because you may or may not have a sharps container in your home, right? I happen to have one downstairs. My son left one years ago, lucky me. So now I have to deal with disposing of it. But if you don't have a sharps container, you might want to think about getting something like this if you're concerned about safety in your blades, okay? So once you dispose of that, then you're going to come in here, and then you're going to take your blades that came with your razor. You should at least got a couple of boxes of these. And then you're going to just take it out. It's just paper that's not even really locked in. You just take it out. And just be careful when you open this up that you always grab it from the top edge for safety. And then just throw the paper away. Be careful when you remove the paper. And then you're just going to go in, and you're going to insert it. Okay, so insert it till it stops, and then you'll put your guard back on. So make sure it's facing me. Yeah, facing me. Make sure that the blade is in between So I can't cut myself, okay? And then start back again. I should have a cleaner cut. Shouldn't have to work too hard. Shouldn't have to work too hard. It's about the same. Shouldn't have to work too hard to cut the hair. Okay, so you're gonna let that hair drop. So you see how I have a little bit here, just a tiny bit longer on the edge. You're gonna get that. The only concern is making sure that you don't have too many of those where it throws you off on your guide, okay? Because you're gonna need that to know to move forward and to keep a straight line, okay? So then you go here, there's my guide, right? So normally that would be my guide that I need to focus on. Well, that can't be the position of my guide when I cut. It needs to be behind my fingers. That means that you're gonna change the angle of your fingers. As soon as that hair is starting to come out of my fingers, when I drop down, okay? And so it's just a one fell swoop. You want to just go in and do like a chopping motion, okay? So you're gonna go in, take it right behind the fingers, let that previous hair drop out, come down, and then just cut, okay? Right between your fingers. Does that make sense to everyone? So it's a little bit weird at first, and you can always go back and check. Now, little things like that, don't worry about. You just want to basically be about the same, okay? I feel like this side might be a little bit longer, probably the way I was angled my fingers. So I'm going to go in and check this real quickly. Looks okay, but I think it's not. Okay. Okay, then same thing with any other haircut. Come down, take about a ½ inch. Make sure when you clip up, you can see this section. So always start in the center, right? I'm looking for my guide, so I'm looking for my guide to drop out. As soon as my guide drops out, I'm gonna go in and whack, okay? Whack, chop, you can call it whatever you like. Go in, get some so you'll have two previously cut hair, one in the middle and one behind, okay? So as soon as they slip out, cut. And if they slip out, you won't recut your blade, your guide, okay? You don't want to keep recutting your guide. If you do, what happens? Yep, you get shorter and shorter every single time. And you've been in a salon when you've had that happen, haven't you? You ask for an inch and they give you end up with 3 inches, right? Let that hair drop and cut, okay? Then just periodically check it so that you know that you are about the same. You don't want one side to get longer and too much longer and you didn't realize it, okay? But some people like have the hair razor used on them because it gives soft movement to the hair. No blunt lines. Everything is really just diffused and nice. So if you like that, or if you know people who like their hair cut in that way, you might want to start practicing so that they will let you cut their hair, okay? And once we get out of this COVID, hopefully you should have plenty of people trying to get you to cut their hair. elevation as possible. Let your guide drop out and cut. Okay, one of the most important parts about this. So now I'm getting to the point where probably going to stop reaching. So I just check. Still don't forget to use natural fall. So you're not over directing that hair. So I have a few hairs that reach. So I'm going to go in and cut those. And do you see, I never use this hand to to comb. This hand is just a holder. It just holds things. It helps manipulate the hair. You're never going to comb with your non-dominant hand. Never, okay? So it's just a placeholder. It's going to hold that comb for you while you cut. Okay. Does that make sense to everyone? I'm going to check my sides. Just a tiny bit. Tiny bit longer. Just a bit. Where'd it go? Just a bit. Okay. So then we'll go to the sides, right?
Miss Knowles, when you flipped it, was that another way of checking it?
When I what?
When you flipped that section right now, when you flipped it over, is that another way of checking it?
What do you mean I flipped it?
Like you flipped your hand over.
Yeah, I was just checking it. Looking at the way that the hair lays. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Kind of like how you comb through it and you look for, how the hair kind of flows. Same kind of thing.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so now we're just going to connect the side. I'm going to do a big section, about 3/4 of an inch because I figure not much is going to connect, and that's fine. So we're going to use this for a lot of haircuts. Hope you guys still have your bread. Even if it's short, that's okay. We can do something else, and then when we start the short haircuts, then we can. Okay, so this happens a lot. You're gonna have hair that doesn't connect at the ear. So you guys kind of have to imagine that there's hair there. Okay, so you're gonna still take your section from the back and you're gonna bring it forward. And even if you have to you can just kind of guesstimate where you think it is, and then just don't guess too short. Okay, and then I bring them together. See how that looks. Okay. I'll do my next section down. Okay, let's see what I've got. So remember, if the hair doesn't reach, then you don't cut it, right? Next haircut we'll do a little diagonal back with our razor. And then we'll connect it up, okay? Unfortunately, my doll's head won't turn without getting all weird, so I have to manually turn him. I'm just taking this last side down because the other one, then usually they're about the same, barely caught. So I'm just gonna connect this from front to back. So no hair around the ears. Sometimes some things you just have to deal with. And even with people, it happens. So you just kind of have to be ready for it. And you just make the best of it. Okay. Then sometimes if you need to, you can go back with your shear if you needed to really correct it. But he already had a hole there, so it's just the same. Okay. So any questions about that? So today we're going to start with our solid. And then we'll go in, we'll do some graduation with our razor. And then we'll just try to do all the haircuts that we did with the shear with the razor, okay? And get you guys more comfortable so when you get ready to start practicing next semester for the NIC, you won't be so nervous, okay? Any questions about that? Okay, so let's go ahead and stop this, and then we will